Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be, while the date stays, its meaning changes. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So the date I'm referring to is that the date that you met the narcissist? Is that the day that you had a child with a narcissist? Is that the day that you relocated? Is that the day the relationship ended? Is that a holiday? Was it your birthday? The whole point of this video is to let you know that the dates of the calendar will always go around and around, and there are 365 days a year, of course, except for leap year, which is this year. There's 366, and the dates mean different things to you, specifically before you met the narcissist, when you were in the narcissistic relationship, and certainly post-narcissistic relationship. So let's take a holiday as an example. Pick your favorite holiday, whatever that was or is. Before you met the narcissist, you probably celebrated that holiday a certain way, and you did whatever you did, and you enjoyed it, and you had family and friends come over or whatever. Maybe you attended other people's places. But then you met the narcissist, and that holiday, I can assure you, it was blown up probably each and every time that date of the year approached or had arrived. Post-narcissistic relationship, using that same holiday as an example, well, that holiday probably meant a lot different to you than it did before you met the narcissist. Certainly when you were with them, and now post, it's probably a whole different meaning for you or to you. You see, the date remained the same, but its meaning was completely different. Now that I set the stage and the tone for this video, just to let you know that life is dynamic, and your memories are just that, they're memories. You can't change the past. You can predict the future, but I wouldn't do that. You need to live in the present moment, the here and the now. And going back to life being dynamic and understanding what holidays are as an example, well, each and every holiday that you celebrated from the minute you were a little child until right now, I can assure you, every year it wasn't the same people that were attending that holiday with you. Same thing with your birthday. Same thing with events that you attended or other people's birthdays. You see, people are always going in and out of your life. Now, I know that's a tough pill to swallow, specifically if the narcissistic relationship ended recently. I get it. The truth of the matter is, though, is that these dates will, in time, mean something completely different to you than they mean right now. Let's take a discard as an example. Let's say that you were discarded by the narcissist, or that relationship ended either way. Number one, my heart goes out to you. Number two, yes, that relationship had to end. There was no other way. It did have an expiration date. You just didn't know it back then because you weren't taught Narcissism 101 in school. But having said that, whatever date that is, if that's what you experienced, or if it's the day you removed yourself from the proximity or the clutches of the narcissist, you know that date very well. That's the day that, although you didn't know it, but that's the day you reclaimed your independence, your freedom. Now again, if this is the first video you're consuming, you're gonna really have to be patient with yourself. You're gonna have to be stoic, centered, focused, and understand that there is a lot of work ahead of you. I'm not trying to trigger you or upset you, but to heal from the narcissistic relationship, you're gonna have to recapture dates. You're gonna have to recapture your energy, your time. You're gonna have to rebuild relationships, probably relocate. You're gonna have to put yourself back together brick by brick. And it will take time, it will take a lot of time, but in your time, you will heal. That's exactly what I've done, and that's exactly what I help people to do. But having said that, let's go back to this date, and you probably by now know what date it is. This is the date you're consuming the video, as it's gonna go live in about an hour or so. This is the date that changed my life forever. This is the date that the discard took place. This is the day that will live forever in my mind in infamy, not a good memory, but you know what? This date means something completely different for me today, 4 years later, than what it meant for me 4 years ago. And 3 years ago, it meant something completely different. And 2 years ago, again, something different. And last year, something different. And I'll tell you that right now, before 4 years ago, this date was just another date on the calendar. It meant nothing. As I get further and further away from the toxicity of the narcissistic relationship, this day is nothing but a memory of what once was, of the ghosts of the past, of the toxicity of the relationship, of walking around on eggshells, of being devalued, of being excluded, of being left out, of being given the silent treatment, of being triangulated, my least favorite thing these people do, and on and on and on. You see, when you were in the narcissistic relationship, just like myself, you were taken for granted. You were the walking apology. You were the walking ATM. You were the unpaid helper, the chauffeur, the pool person, the person who would pay bills, who would cook, clean, who would pay for tuition, who would do anything you possibly could for the person perhaps that you fell in love with or loved, who turned out to be a narcissist. Now, did they know who they were back then? Yes, they did. Did their immediate family know? Absolutely they knew. Did their children know? Possibly not back then, but probably now. Did their besties know who they were? Absolutely not. Were there flying monkeys and enablers swarming and flying all around you when you were in that relationship? Absolutely there were. Did you know what narcissism was back then? You didn't have an idea. Did you think that that person actually cared about you even for a moment? Of course you did. Did it turn out to be true, the last part? Not even close. You see, the narcissist cares about one person. It is themselves. It's not you. It's never been you. It never will be you. It won't be their children. It won't be the next new supply. It won't be the next spouse. It won't be their parents or their siblings. It won't be anybody other than the person who provides for them in the right here, in the right now, whatever they want. That is why the narcissist is always looking for the next new shiny object. That is why they will always drift off onto the next new supply, and they will go any which way the wind blows. That's why in these narcissistic relationships, there's no such thing as calmness, as serenity, as peace, as togetherness, as growth. You don't get any of that. What you get is all the aforementioned abusive manipulation or manipulating techniques administered by the narcissist. Now again, back then you didn't know what you know now. You're learning. You're becoming awakened and aware, educated and empowered, and you're realizing that you are the priority, that you come first, second, and third. But when you're in that relationship, you didn't know that. You put the narcissist way high up on a pedestal. You did everything you possibly could to help them out, to elevate them in their life, and to help those people around them that they claimed that they cared about. You see, the narcissist is a user. They're an abuser. They're a manipulator. They're shallow. They're hollow. They're bullies. There's no core to them. There's no substance to them. All they want to do is mimic back other people's hopes, dreams, and aspirations and goals, and they want to future fake, and they want to blame anybody but themselves for the toxicity that surrounds themselves like a black cloud. But you see, when you were in that relationship, you didn't know any of that. All you knew is you kept on giving to a fault. You were trying or attempting to get back to that euphoric / love bomb stage when things appeared to be somewhat regular, somewhat calm. But you see, that was the mask, that was the illusion. That was the house of cards that the narcissist was showing you. Because the narcissist knew that you provided value. They knew that you provided utility. They knew that you could elevate them from one leg of their life to the next leg and probably beyond. But you didn't know that because you probably fell in love with the narcissist or loved the narcissist. You certainly cared about them, and you did the best that you possibly could to maintain the relationship, no matter if you were married, if you were a roommate, if it was your sibling, your mom, neighbor, colleague, coworker, business partner, whomever. But again, eventually something broke, something snapped, something gave. And that was the pivotal date that now for this part of the video I'm referring to. That was the line in the sand that could not be, you couldn't go back because you drew the line in the sand. Perhaps you put up a boundary and you called out the narcissist. Again, you didn't know they were a narcissist, but perhaps you put up a boundary and said, hey, what's going on? I don't get this. I didn't sign up for this. You're treating me less than. You're treating complete strangers better than me. You're spending time with people I don't even know. I've never even heard of their names before, and you claim they're alleged high school friends or friends from your job or from all of these weekend trips that you're taking alone or by yourself, or you claim to be. I can't get this. What is it? Well, when you would do that, what would happen? Well, first of all, if you did it, you now know that there's going to be a big price to pay for calling out the narcissists, specifically telling them the truth about their poor behavior. Again, you didn't know it back then, but if you knew it back then, you wouldn't have entered the relationship with them because the narcissist did not give you that 2-page report. They didn't hand you that 2-page and say, this is who I am. I'm a shapeshifter. I wear a mask. I manipulate anybody who enters my vicinity or my sphere or aura, and I'll do the same with you. And I'll take everything I possibly can from you. I will leave you a shell of yourself. You will be stuck in the narcissistic fog. You will be barely existing, working for me, and I will toy with you every now and again. And I'll give you little breadcrumbs of hope or breadcrumbs of the fake love bomb stage when I think that I need to get something from you or to keep you in line until I find your replacement. But that's not what happened. You see, the narcissist assimilated themselves with you. They claimed that they were like-minded, that they wanted to share your hopes, your dreams, your goals, your aspirations, but all they wanted to do was to steal your time, your relationships, your money, your health, your empathy, your soul. They wanted to take everything and more. And when they got what they wanted, and then that pivotal date of your life happened, or the ending of the relationship happened, whenever that happened, that's when, if you were discarded, They crumbled you up like a sheet of paper, threw you away in the freeway, and hoped that you wouldn't make it. But guess what? You did, because you're here, you're in the community, and you're getting your cup full on the channel. And you are really realizing that the narcissist took their best shot at you, and they failed miserably, just like they fail at everything they do, because the narcissist is a bully and a coward, and the narcissist does know what they're doing. But when they took their best shot at you, they didn't realize that you would rise through the ashes like a phoenix. You would dust yourself off. You would pick yourself up by the bootstraps, and you would heal, and you would go to work on yourself. You see, there's a pivotal part, again, post-narcissistic relationship, not the day of the discard, the day of the ending. It's when you finally crack the code. It's when you finally realize, oh my gosh, this was a narcissistic relationship I was a part of. That's when you get that needle in a haystack, and that's when you figure out, oh my gosh, what is this narcissism thing? How come I wasn't taught this? How come I didn't know about it? Well, when that happened, that changed the trajectory of your life. For me, it was about 3 weeks later. I cracked the code because each and every day, not only was I isolated during one of the most pivotal periods of time known to humankind, but I was left with no support system, all alone. I'll leave it at that. But I was diligent, I was resilient, I was full of fortitude, commitment, and the craving for what had just happened. And I cracked the code. And when I cracked the code, I'll tell you right now, I fell to the ground and wept. And I had carnal screams. I was in disbelief. I cried for hours. I couldn't believe that that's what this was, but it was what it was. And so when that happened, I went back to work and worked on myself. You see, I wasn't putting out fires any longer for a toxic person. I wasn't being a glue that kept relationships together. I now knew that I was on my own, and I was about to embark on the most pivotal and challenging part of my existence, which was healing and focusing and learning about myself. I experienced the dark night of the soul. I also experienced a very, very challenging day, January 6, 2021. And for those of you who know my videos, you know what I'm talking about. Maybe you could read between the lines. The thing is, 5 months and 2 days after the discard, I put camera on myself and created a video called Glad You Made It. I believe it was a Thursday night, about 10 o'clock at night. And I said, you know what? I need to take action. I need to do something. I need to help the planet. I need to pay it forward, because I had acquired so much wisdom and I had so much experience and insight and life skills that I needed to pay it forward, to let my story be shown and shared with the world. And I've done that each and every day since that pivotal day, 5 months and 2 days after the discard. And I've made a vow to you, to the world, to myself, to a higher power, that I will create videos as long as I'm breathing air on this planet each and every day. And I've kept my word to do that. I've built and I've built and I've built and I've grown and I've grown and I've grown and I've healed, and I've allowed other people to heal through my pain and through my channel and through my experience. And this has a ripple effect. It's being paid forward right now as you're consuming this video and as I'm creating it. You see, what matters is not the date of the year. It matters the year that that date took place, because each and every one of us went through challenging times. Some of us went through the discard. Some of us are in the relationship right now. Some of us remember the day we figured out what narcissism was. Some of us are still stuck thinking about that the narcissist can change, and was it my fault? Should I have done more? Could I have done A, B, and C and stayed in it? Well, you couldn't have. The relationship was going to end anyway. You need to really get the message. The narcissist toys with people. They manipulate people. They want to take advantage of people. And they want to decimate people. All these things I'm sharing, they culminated in today's video, which is the date stays the same. While the date stays, the meaning is different. What that means is exactly how I shared it earlier. The date's still the same date. It's just 4 years later. And in another 4 years, it will mean less and less and less. Now, the point of this video is to let you know that what once was not only will never be, but what is, which means today's date, I can sit here in the beautiful Carolina woods and create a marvelous and fantastic video for you to pay it forward, to get your cup full. But you see, 4 years ago, I couldn't do that. It was almost 4 years ago to the minute when that door closed and I turned around and looked at the emptiness of the house that had just been ransacked, and I was in disbelief. I did not know what happened. It took me weeks to figure it out, but I did, and here I am. And that is why each and every day I will create a video. Each and every day I will pay it forward. Each and every day I will share my wisdom more and more as time goes by. And understand something as I began this video. Life is dynamic. Each and every day of our lives, we're not guaranteed to be here. Each and every day, the meaning for that day has something different to offer. So whereas that holiday example I shared with you in the beginning, yeah, maybe it's whatever holiday is, it's still your favorite holiday. Well, maybe this year it means more than it did last year. Maybe next year it will mean even more. Who knows? What I can tell you is this, is each and every day you're away from the narcissistic creature, each and every day you're away from that relationship is a day to heal. It's a day to get stronger. It's a day to get your mind clear. It's a day to realize your purpose, your focus, and to be fulfilled with you, and to get your cup full, and to get all the wisdom and get all the knowledge that you can acquire and apply those tools and the wisdom to present day. Again, you don't want to be stuck in the past. You don't want to be predicting the future. You want to be living in the present moment. And you want to take those lifelong learning lessons from the past and apply them in present day. That is exactly what I've done. That's why my hope is that you're doing the same thing, or you're about to do what I just shared. That's why some of the most important things you will ever do are go no contact and block the narcissist, delete them, remove them and all flying monkeys and people associated with them, and understand that the narcissist can't change. They will just continue to do the same old thing over and over and over again until you do finally remove them from your life. And some of the most important tools that I've ever provided on the channel, I'll share with you right now before I close the video. If you're not journaling, you really should be doing that. I began journaling about 3 weeks after the discard. I haven't stopped. I journal each and every day. Another thing will be to meditate. Many people ask, well, how do you meditate? What do you do? I do walking meditations. I get out, no matter what the season is, or no matter what location I'm in. I get out and I practice gratitude, thankfulness, and some other things. But what I do is I connect with nature, and I refill my cup each and every day. And I make sure that every day I have time for myself. And I have a very busy schedule, as I'm sure you do too. But I always, and I mean always, find time for myself. You see, that's something you couldn't do when you were in the narcissistic relationship. You didn't have any time for yourself. You were doing everything you possibly could for the narcissist and for whatever direction they were pointing you in. But those are two instrumental things. Number 3 is taking a good hard look at the people that you surround yourself with. I'm not referring to the narcissist specifically. They should be out of your life. If they aren't already, they should be. I'm referring to fringe people, or to people that claim that they're good friends of yours. When the chips were down, were they there for you? If they were, well, that's a good thing. Then they've proven themselves, and they're probably good people. If they disappeared like a cockroach in the kitchen at midnight when you turn the light switch on, well, they showed you who they are. Those people will be what I call casualties of the relationship. They're either toxic themselves, or they got their popcorn and watched their life implode, but either way, they weren't there for you. So those people, they shouldn't be in your life. And the next thing I'll share before I close the video is you're going to find out that your circle is really small, meaning you don't trust as many people these days. Trust will be something that you will acquire again. It will take time. It will take a lot of time, but in your time, you will trust again. Now, I'm not saying you're going to trust the way you did before you met the narcissist. Those days are long over. You see, you can't unsee what you've seen. You're a totally different person now. You're in or entering what I call the third version of you, the strongest, most galvanized version of you known to humankind. This is rarefied air. It's where I am. It's where you will be if you're not there already. And this is a place where there's no room for toxicity. But trust is something that you now will observe, and you will figure out using discernment if you want to trust people or not. But again, it will take time. It took me time. The final thing I'll say before I close the video is you're going to have to really, really understand that relationship was something you had to go through. It's not something you wanted to go through, but yet you had to. There was no other way. So you can say to yourself, well, if I only didn't do this, or if I only did that, or if I took this turn, or if I didn't answer that email, if I didn't go to that event or whatever, you wouldn't have met the narcissist. All those things I would throw out the window, because none of them are reality. Reality is you did meet the narcissist. It changed your world forever. It showed you that there is evil and darkness on the planet. And it really showed you how strong and resilient you are. So that relationship, you can't change it. You couldn't change it. There was no other way. You had to go through it. That was one of your lessons that you had to learn on this planet called Earth during this thing called life. Now, I'm going to close the video because there are so many other things I could drop. I could drop another 2,000 nuggets of wisdom on this video. I want to close it because it's getting a little bit long, and I want you to understand that wherever you are right now, if you're where you want to be, embrace it, be grateful, and understand that you're exactly where you want to be. If you're not, that means there's work to be done. That means really focus on where you are, where you want to go, and how to get there. I was once where you are, or I was once where you were, no matter how you cut it, but I am now where I belong, right here in these Carolina woods. Wherever you are, my hope is you belong where you are, and you're comfortable, and you feel safe and secure. Another thing you couldn't feel when you're in the narcissistic relationship, which was safe and secure. And also, when you're in that relationship, I can assure you there were times when you felt to yourself that you didn't belong because you were experiencing abuse day in and day out. but no longer do you have the abuse surrounding you. No longer is the black cloud around you. No longer is the toxic narcissistic relationship existent in your life. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. Remember that. You are not alone. I love you all. God bless you. And be patient with yourself. Be kind with yourself. Celebrate wins when you get them. When I say celebrate, I am not saying anything other than really slow down, pause, realize that you just had something good happen in your life. Celebrate it, which means, wow, this is great. Enjoy it. Because when you're in the toxic narcissistic relationship, you couldn't celebrate anything. You were being crushed day in and day out by the weight of that relationship and by the abuse dished out by the narcissist. That's why now you need to slow your life down and you need to really insulate yourself and protect yourself. Everyone, that's the video. I love you all. God bless you. And for those of you who've been on the journey with me since March 31st, 2021, I love you all. God bless you. For those of you, this is the first video you're ever consuming. I love you equally as much. Continue on the path. And for everybody else in between, really understand something. I did it. I did it during one of the most challenging periods of time on the planet, alone, isolated, etc. If I did it, you can do it. You need to really, really understand it. This is your time. Take action. Develop, create, and execute an exit plan if you haven't removed yourself already. And if you have, really consider going no contact. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.